Well, hello. Today, intonation. I've had a request from someone about intonation. There are 1,000,001 videos on Facebook about intonation, but here's mine. So we'll do 10 inches and no inches. Doing it in inches, people. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. Right. Body. Nut. Okay, I'm not putting headstock because it could be a headless guitar, who knows. This is the bridge. There. Strings, blah blah blah. Doesn't matter. Okay. Intonation means basically every fret is correct all the way up the neck. So when you finger the fret, you get a accurate note. Now on a normally fretted guitar, as anyone will tell you, this is completely impossible. Now, well, basically we set them up. This has got a 10-inch scale. That's a really small guitar. The 12th fret will be exactly halfway between the nut and the bridge. Now let's just draw that in profile. The bridge should be and the nut should be our first fret, if you have one. Some have, some haven't. Okay, this is exaggerated. Can we see it? Yeah, it looks alright. The nut is angled, or the inside of the slots at least, the top of the nut can be square. But the inside of the slots are angled so that the string breaks off right here. Okay, so the difference between this point on the nut, the highest point, and the highest point on the bridge is your scale length. Various different scale lengths, normally knocking around 24.5, 25.5 inches for a 6-string guitar. The 12th fret halfway between the two. So if we pluck a low E, open, makes an E note, if it's tuned to E of course, 440, and if we pluck the same note here on the 12th fret, it's also E, but it's an octave higher. An octave, oct, is 8 notes on the piano. Easy one to work out. So that's E and that's E. Same with A, D, D, so on and so forth. Now that is mechanically that to that to that. Okay, so that is halfway and that is half of scale length. Right, Are we making sense? Probably not. Let's move this over a little bit. And up a little bit. That's it. Now, when we do it musically with a tuner, we strike our E string and tune it so the tuner tells us it's open E is bang on E. This particular tuner has two little arrows on it, most of them do. This particular one chirps when you're correct. So at 440, open E, tune it up, it goes beep beep, so you know where you are. Now, if it's accurately intonated, when you do the E on the 12th fret, and I have a couple of provisos here, it will also chirp. If it doesn't, then you have to adjust, if you have an individual saddle, the individual saddle on your bridge. If it's sharp, so if this is E sharp, even if it's only a little bit, you have to take the bridge back so that the sharp flattens out. The longer the string, the flatter the note. It's only a little bit usually, so you adjust that. If it's flat, if that's E and that's a few points flat, then you push the bridge forwards, and that shortens that string and it sharpens it. Now of course it sharpens the whole string, so you retune every time you adjust the saddle to open E, and then you finger the 12th fret and retest on the tuner and see where it says. If this particular one chirps there and it chirps there, then my individual bridge saddle is good. This is why I personally like individually saddled bridges, 6 saddles. People swear by, especially Telecaster owners, for God knows what reason, love these 3 saddle bridges. You cannot get halfway decent intonation with them. Now you've got some, the holes are drilled through the saddles on an angle, so the saddles will sit differently like that, so you can get somewhere near, but it's never dead on. I know somebody's going to jump on my neck and say, oh no, my Telecaster is perfectly intonated. There's even some clown on eBay, on YouTube I was looking at, who's got perfect intonation on his Telecaster. You cannot get perfect intonation on a normal guitar. Electric, acoustic, what have you. That's why you see frets on some guitars which are fanned, like so. Oh, it does my head in, that, looking at that. I've never actually tried playing one. And some where the frets themselves actually do this sort of thing. Like that. That should be 6 across the neck. And each fret is split up like that in an attempt to get perfect intonation. Very, very hard to do. Everybody knows that electric guitars are hopelessly inaccurate. I've just finished doing a Stratocaster for a friend, and his F sharp was about 3 or 4 cents flat on the low E. It was spot on the high E. So go figure. You cannot get the intonation exact. You can get the 12th fret intonation correct by adjusting the bridge, but you can't get each individual fret perfect. It does your ear in, actually. I know when I hear a correctly tuned piano and somebody plays an arpeggio, it sounds off, because I spent my whole life, over 60 years, playing guitar, and it does your ear in. That's why I'll never be able to play a fretless instrument with any accuracy, because if I'm fingering it correctly, it's off to my ear, and that's a really bad thing, but it is the thing guitarists have to live with. But that is intonation on a guitar. So tune your string open, fret the 12th, check your tuner. Is it sharp or flat? If it's sharp at the 12th, you have to take your bridge saddle a little bit away from it to lengthen the string. You lengthen it, it flattens, but it flattens the whole string, so you have to retune it, then finger the 12th fret, and then see what your tuner says. Don't go by ear. You can, people go ping on the harmonic and all that sort of thing. If you're funnily enough, the more experienced a guitarist you are, the less likely you are to get it right doing it by ear, because the damn things are so inaccurate at the best of times. Don't take my word for it. Ask anybody who actually knows, not somebody who's making a guess, somebody who actually knows about working out. There's a mathematical formula for working out where to put all the frets. Yes, you can do that, but that way they're mechanically correct. I know that personally known to me as a chap that spends a lot of time fingering unfretted fretboards. He does the 12th, sets the intonation there, then he fingers it. He gets, and the frets are all higgledy-piggledy. Weird looking guitars and very strange to play. I've seen him for a few years. I hope he's still okay. If you're out there and you hear this, contact me, because I've lost touch. I think that's about it. So the bridge should be not to a fine point, because that'll wear your string, especially if you've got a Bigsby style tremolo which moves the string back and forth on the fret. If you've got a Fender style tremolo, it moves the whole thing, so you're not wearing away. People say, oh, you have to oil this. Why? Nothing's moving. It all moves together. A little bit of oil or lubrication on the nut slots, great idea. And if you've got string trees holding the strings down, especially on a Fender style guitar with a beautifully designed headstock, not like Gibson rubbish, then you have string tees and just a little bit of lube on those, some graphite, or even I use sewing machine oil because it's very light. It doesn't stain your clothes. If you shouldn't have that much on it anyway, and it's harmless otherwise because it's meant to go on a sewing machine which sews clothes, blah blah blah. If anybody's watching this has any questions regarding intonation or setting up of a guitar that I can answer for you, please leave me a note underneath in the comments, and I will answer you. I really will, to the best of my ability. As I've said before in my videos, I am not a skilled, trained luthier. I'm only doing stuff that I've learned over 60 odd years, playing guitars, messing with guitars, building guitars, although I haven't built one for ages and ages, I must admit. I first built one when I was at school when I was about 14. It was a horrible thing. I didn't understand about the fretting. Yeah, it was a mess. But they got better. But I haven't built one for years. I may just do another one. I really might. There's people who seem to like weird body shapes and funny headstocks. Although I'm all for straight string pulls. I can't do with these people who have angled string pulls like that. Oh, God help me. It puts an awful strain on the nut. I don't care what your nut's made of, it puts an awful strain on the nut, and to my mind they're ugly. A straight string pull, fair dues like Fender, G&L, PRS to a point, and a few others who've got straight string pulls. I notice you can actually buy a gizmo to bolt onto your Gibson style guitar, and I was going to get one from Sheraton. But they're a lot of money, and I think you could probably do just the same thing with a couple of 6-inch nails and a drill. It wouldn't look as pretty, but there you go. I'm all for functionality, and I'm waffling on. So I am going to... 14 minutes is about as long as I should make my videos. Any questions, put them underneath, and stay safe these days, please, people. Wear a mask when you're out. You might look like a prat, but you look even sillier dead. So take care.